my vibrational state is, the more in spirit and aligned with God I am, the more I'm a little blurry and things like that. I've actually started noticing too, on my FaceTime, when I'm FaceTiming with people, I have this like thing around me when I'm talking to people. It's like, it's weird. I've shown a couple of people, I'm like, what is that? Yeah, I always say, I think it's my vibration. Anyways, I'm so excited to be here. These next 2 days, I have so much to go over. So it's going to be more workshop style. Which means it's going to be a little bit more interactive. So I'm not going to be teaching as much thorough content per se. I'm still going to teach, but it won't be as heavy in the information and more about a process that I'm taking you through. So this reflection event, I think this is our 4th. We thought maybe it was our 5th, but I didn't do one in 2019. The very first one I did was in 2020. So that would mean that this is the 4th annual reflection event. And this is actually my own personal process that I learned from my very first coach. Of course, I've changed it, I've tweaked it, I've made it my own, I've added things, moved it around, but she took me through this process in 2019 and I loved it. So I've adopted the same process into my own personal journey, and I'm going to take you guys through it here. It is something that I would do every single year if I were you, and we will continue to do it every single year as well. If you can do it live, let's stay together and do it live. So it's powerful. You're doing it in moment with the collective. If you can't do it live, I would stay on it as close as you can with us. So what I mean by that is if you are watching it on the replay, for example, and it's 8 o'clock at night on Thursday night on December 5th, I'm talking to the replayers right now, and you're thinking about waiting to do the homework a few days and then do day 2 in a week from now and then do that homework a few days later, I would just caution you to avoid that. Literally stay with us, do it in 2 days, back to back, boom, boom, get on there, do the replay, do the homework, the next day do it, stay on top of it. So that it's the work that's going to shift you to take you into 2025 in such a beautiful way. So please follow along, take ownership and responsibility for your growth. You signed up for this for a reason. So follow through, continue with it, and do the work, because that is the embodiment of this. So you might notice as you're going through this that you sit, you listen, you take notes, but then you don't do the actual work. You don't do the homework, you don't do the journaling, you actually don't sit with yourself. To sit with oneself is the most important part of the reflection event, not being on here with me. It's sitting with oneself and reflecting. Okay, so I want you to do that tonight. So if you find yourself avoiding that, just notice it with compassion and grace and go, oh, I'm trying to put this off. I'm avoiding this. Isn't that interesting? Okay, so we're not going to do that, even if you do 10 minutes. Just sit with oneself for 10 minutes. That's the best thing that you can do. So I'm going to give you a rundown of all of what the next 2 days are going to look like, what is included with this workshop, so that you have all of the things that you are going to need for the next 2 days, okay? So we're going to be on here from 10 to 12, 10 a.m. Eastern to 12 p.m. Eastern. Don't ask me what your time zone is, because I have no idea. We have students in over 60 countries. That is a lot of time zones. But you know who will tell you? Google. Google is so good at that, and it will tell you. We also have a workbook. In this workbook, there is journal prompts. There is a worksheet for reflecting. Okay, so you'll see that the worksheet for reflecting has January, February, March, April, all the way down for the whole year. So I'm going to guide you through what I want you to do with that. There's also journal prompts for visioneering, which will be for day 2. And then we do have homework. There is also a Canva link. We're going to drop the workbook right here in the chat. We're going to drop it right here in the chat. I'm just telling you about it first. I asked them to make some changes first thing this morning, right before the event. I think maybe even I asked for a few changes. So I'm sure they're just finalizing it and getting it in the chat box here. So what I was saying about that though is there is also a Canva link, because we want you to create your vision board. That's tomorrow's homework, is the vision board. And if the Canva link does not work for you, that is okay. You can create a vision board anywhere you want, on paper. You can draw it. You can use any sort of template. You can just go right on your computer and just put a bunch of pictures together. So don't worry about actually using the Canva link. If you can't figure it out, that's okay. And the reason I'm saying this is they sent me the workbook in Canva to review this morning and I couldn't get it to work. I said, can't you just send me the PDF? So that's why I'm saying, like, if it doesn't work for you, it's okay. Go with the flow. This is the power of this work, is the ability to go with the flow, to just know everything is working out for you, and to not be non-reactive. We're not going to freak out. We're not going to get upset. We're not going to get mad. We're just going to go, oh, okay. And we're going to pivot and we're going to flow. Okay. What we're also going to do too, yes, we will email out the workbook. So at the end of every day, you will get an email. If you signed up and you registered for this event, you will get an email. If you're watching it on the YouTube and you didn't register and you're just watching it live, you won't get that email because you didn't register. So go in and register so you can get the replays. In the replay email, there's a link that will have everything you need, including the workbook. Okay. So it'll all be there. Don't worry about it. It's all coming. Last case scenario, if you can't find what you need, reach out to your manifestation mentor, please. Or you can email info@diamondacademy.ca. If you're not getting our emails, it might be that you opted out at some point to our emails. Oh, I better close my email. Speaking of emails. Oh, I'm going to close this down too. So if you aren't getting our emails, it might be that you've unsubscribed or opted out. So if you've ever done that, it'll never send you our emails again. So you'll have to just opt back in. And it could be that it's in your junk mail. And then there is this phenomenon where emails just get lost in the ether. I don't know. So we'll just go with the flow. info@diamondacademy.ca. info@diamondacademy.ca. Okay. I think that's it. 2 days, 10 to 12. I am interviewing my dear friend and personal trainer, Eric Bigger, today. He has been a part of my life now for well over 2 years. He has seen me flourish. He has seen me grow. He has been a part of this work. He is very, very consciously aware. And he is probably one of the closest people to me in my life and knows me the most. So we're going to have him come on today and share some of the things that he's observed in the past 2 years, and to share the power behind this work. And he is a direct member of this work in our community, but he's also seen his life change too. So you'll get to meet Eric. I've never had him on one of these. I can't even believe it. And then tomorrow, I'm going to be interviewing Mandy McLaughlin, who is a beautiful, beautiful student, very, very powerful, beautiful, loving woman who is going to share a little bit about her transformative journey and the power behind this work as well. So we've got a couple of different interviews coming up the next 2 days as well. I'm going to try tomorrow. I probably won't fit in a guided visualization because we have so much work that I want us to do. But I want you to know that we are doing so much important spiritual work over the next 2 days that it's okay if we don't do a visualization together, and that you can do one on your own anytime. I've got tons of them on the YouTube channel. You can go back to any past live event and stuff like that. So it's available for you whenever you desire that. Okay, did we get the workbook sent out? Has it been dropped in the chat? I wasn't watching. No. Almost. Okay, Jen's almost ready with it. I just looked at my phone. If you see me looking at my phone, it's only because I'm talking to the team. I'm not like talking to my boyfriend on here, okay? Anyways, all right. I am so grateful for this work. What I want us to do first is I want us to all start in a loving moment of gratitude, okay? So I want to say thank you for every single one of you that has come on to this live event, whether you are on TikTok, whether you are on YouTube, or you're coming from Instagram, or you're watching live here on Zoom. I want to say thank you for contributing your beautiful, loving, positive energy to the growth and to the collective of everyone else. I want to thank God. I want to thank Source Energy. I want to thank the presence that is within each and every one of us for giving us this incredible space, for all of its love, all of its glory, and for giving us the capacity and the ability to create our own lives through Him. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's get going. Okay, I love this for everyone. Tell me, please, if this is your first event with me. If this is your first event with me, I would love for you to tell me in the comments, please. First time. The best. The best, the best, the best. And what we do at the tail end of our reflection events is we always have everyone create a word for the year. So if you were on our live event or part of our community last year and you created a word for 2024, I want you to put it in the chat, but I want you to say whether or not you fully embodied that word for the year. And if you can't remember your word, that kind of tells me you didn't embody it. Did you? I don't know. Okay, here's all the words: prosperity, discipline, trust, faith, joy, authenticity, consistency. Mine was wholeness. My word was wholeness for 2024. And oh boy, I feel so whole. I feel like nothing is missing. And I don't mean like outside of me. I mean within myself. There's nothing missing within myself. Is there still room for growth within? Absolutely, always. The growth never ever stops. It never ever stops. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do over these next 2 days. We're gonna reflect, then we are going to bless and release. You're gonna have some homework tonight. I don't know if I should really have you playing with fire, but I'm gonna have you play with fire. And then we're gonna create a vision board. Then we're gonna wrap up with a new word for 2025. So that's kind of the 4 steps I'm gonna take you. Now there is a third day to this reflection event. So day 1 and day 2 are here live on Zoom, free for anybody to join. We're just giving value. We're just supporting you in any way that we can. But there is a third day, which is the embodiment day, where we will actually do critical exploration, a little bit more identity work, and I'm going to talk a little bit about states of being. And we are going to do that within the Millionaire Program, within the Modern Mentor Program, and within my inner circle. So if you are a Diamond Academy family member and you are in Millionaire, Modern Mentor, or in my inner circle, we will have the third day that we will do together on my live teachings within the course and within the program. So we'll just go a little bit, we're just gonna dig a little bit deeper. But these first 2 days are really the crux of it. And I'm gonna take you along this beautiful journey. So I read something yesterday that I wanna read out to you. I am really starting to love things like poetry, beautiful essays and readings, and prayers and quotes and things like this. And I really, really want to, hold on a second, let me just find what I wanna read today. So I always feel the pull to read things live that I think resonate in the moment for those that are meant to perhaps hear it. So as we get started and as we are moving into this, I'm going to have you reflect on the year. So I'm going to have you look back a little bit. One of the only times I'll really have you do this. But before I do that, I want to read this because I think it was perfect. So Brianna West, if anybody hasn't read any Brianna West, I would absolutely recommend that you read some of her books. She is an incredible author. She has a way of putting into words the things that I know to be true, but I can't figure out quite how to say it. She says it in such an eloquent way. Anyway, so I just want to read you this one. One day, you will look back on this time and all you will see is magic. You won't remember how stuck you felt, or how far behind you thought you were, or what you wished you had done differently. All you will see is that within your uncertainty was also your potential, and within your lostness was also an opportunity to be found, and within your discomfort was also a chance to see what you needed to change. And changing it was you becoming the person you were always meant to be. If there is one single thought that can comfort you in your darkest, quietest nights, please let it be this. One day you will look back on this time and all you will see is magic. So good. So this is the work she's talking about, right? So noticing that within some of your darkest moments, some of the contrasting times is also the pathway and the realization to becoming who you've always meant to be, which is who you already are. You just don't believe it. It's a remembering. It's a returning home. So there will be a day that all you will see is magic. And that's what so many of us truly experience now within my community is magic. There's no name. This is just an Instagram post that she posted on her Instagram. So if you go Brianna West Instagram, it's her post, I think, from like yesterday. So I don't know what book it's from. No clue. I read it and I was like, oh, I'm reading that tomorrow on the live event. Have to do it. Yeah. Okay. The workbook is now being posted for all of you in the chat. So go have a flurry, click it, open it. Oh, Steph K says it's from Ceremony. Okay. Fantastic. Okay. So the other thing that I want to do is, as we're going into this first exercise of reflection, I want to make sure that every single one of us is reflecting in a productive, loving energy and perspective. Okay. So sometimes what we will do, especially if it is natural and common for us, we will reflect upon the year in judgment. Okay. And so to judge something means you're giving it meaning. It means something. You're saying whether it was good or bad, whether it was positive or negative. We're saying whether or not it served us, didn't serve us. But where the real judgment comes in is when we give it meaning for what it means about who we are and what we've done or haven't done. So what I want us to do is reflect upon the year, January to today. We're going to reflect upon the year, but we are going to do it in compassion. We are going to give ourselves grace, and we are going to do it in a loving perspective. I saw a comment on one of the, I think it was one of the ads that said something along the lines of, well, if you know anything about law of attraction, then you know that you don't want to look back because you'll attract from the past, right? And I want to just speak to this a little bit because I do believe that I am a law of attraction and manifestation expert. I'm probably one of the best in the world. If I told you what has just happened in my life in the past 6 months, I had a manifestation come through yesterday, the day before, that is so crazy, but not crazy, that I'm just like this. Like, what? Because I created the KCB identity and I received confirmation 2 days ago that that is going to absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, be my observation very, very soon. And it is a financial win in a very, very big way. I don't think Chris and I have really even fully sat with it yet, but we will, and we'll talk about it. But right now, you know, I told the team and I told my inner circle, but let me just say, it's something they call a unicorn. Anyways, it's powerful. But I'm saying that to say that this work is so incredibly powerful and so important and so big. But what I want us to really, really understand is that there is a lot of information around law of attraction that is not helpful, beneficial, nor is it a truth that I would want to believe. Notice that what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's not true or it's incorrect, because there is no truth. There's no one truth. There's your truth. And so if you believe that law of attraction is simply positive thinking and being positive all the time and never thinking about the bad and never feeling bad, you're really getting yourself tripped up. You're actually going to be working against universal law, which is going to make your manifestations harder than if you work alongside and with universal law. So universal law says that there's the law of opposites, polarity. So as you manifest all the things that you want, you're going to observe the opposite of it before it comes. There's going to be moments where right now, I'm in a moment right now in my life where I am the happiest that I have ever been. I'm so in spirit. I have my biggest manifestations. And then I have this weird experience happening that's completely contrasting to it. And so I'm like, oh, I get it. This is the law of opposites. That's it. That's all this is. So I used to be where I would suppress my emotions. I would push them away. I would avoid things from my past, looking at it. It's like toxic positivity. I'm just going to sit here and be super, super positive and just pretend that everything is okay and pretend I'm super, super happy. And yeah, I manifested some great things doing that, but I also manifested some pretty awful things, like almost losing my life by not working through my emotional state. So we don't want to spiritually bypass. We want to do the work, and that's what this reflection event is about. So what's so beautiful about this event is that we're going to reveal so much in your life over the course of the year that's going to be incredible feedback for you for 2025. We really, really want to make sure that you go into 2025 feeling your lightest. What does it mean to feel light? We manifest the most amount of things in an effortless way when we feel light. When we feel heavy, we feel bogged down, we feel stressed, we feel overwhelmed, we're in worry. That feels hard, doesn't it? That feels hard. So we want to go into 2025 in this lightness. And so that's my goal for these 2 days, is to get you into the light, to really just move you into that light place. So as we reflect upon the year this year, we're going to look at all of the things within this year that were amazing, were incredible, that where you felt you grew, where you felt you were successful, where you quantum leaped, where you're super proud of yourself, where you were happy, where did you exist in a really beautiful, loving, grateful space, etc., 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 etc. But then we're also going to say, okay, but where did I observe the most contrast this year? Where did I experience the most amount of fear? Where did my doubt start to creep back in? Where did I perhaps have an opportunity that I wanted to take, but I didn't take it because I was too afraid to take it? Where can I look at that? Is there somewhere where I do think I failed? Is there a place in the year where I feel like I disappointed myself? Is there somewhere that I'm shameful about? And the reason that I want you to do all that is because I'm going to show you over these 2 days that none of that was actually real. The story with which you told about that experience made that experience real. But you didn't have to be disappointed. You didn't have to be frustrated. You didn't have to be mad at yourself. You didn't have to think that you're wrong or bad. That you could actually go, what a beautiful awareness. So do we understand the difference between awareness and judgment? The difference between awareness and conflict? The difference between awareness and displeasure? They're different. So for something to become aware of something is simply to see it, to observe it, to recognize it, etc. Right? And so we want to make sure that we're in the awareness of the year, but we don't want to judge it. So the point of this exercise isn't for you to go over the year and go, oh gosh, I'm terrible. This year sucked. I didn't do anything right. I didn't accomplish anything. We're not doing that. Compassion, grace, and a loving perspective. Compassion, grace, and a loving perspective. So in the workbook, you will notice that there are some journal prompts to help you reflect. And those journal prompts are just questions to help pull information from the subconscious mind. Some things you can also ask yourself too as you're doing this this evening is to ask yourself, what did I complain about the most? What did I worry about the most? What did I vent about the most to my best friend? What did I gossip about? That's going to show you the parts of your life that you are not happy with, displeased with, you feel like you could have done better, whatever else. And what I'm actually getting you to do with this exercise is I'm getting you to reveal the sponsoring thoughts in the subconscious mind. So what do I mean by that? Many times in the manifestation process, we are manifesting something new. So we want to manifest more love, more money, better relationships in our lives, business growth, greater health. But we have this underlying thought that is sitting in behind of the desire that says, but you can't have it. It's too hard. You're too scared. It's not going to happen anyway. So it sounds like this. I would love more money. but it never seems to come to me. I would love a loving relationship in my life, but there's no good men out there. I would love for my business to grow, but nobody's buying what it is that I want, that I sell. So the sponsoring thought or the underlying belief sitting in the subconscious, that's what's manifesting, not the desire. You must become the desired state. So we have to get rid of that sponsoring thought. We have to get rid of the fear. We have to get rid of the but that comes in behind. And so that's what I want this exercise to do, is to show you what all your buts are and make them an and. So I would love more money, and it's on its way to me. I would love a loving relationship, and my king is waiting at my doorstep. I would love my business to grow, and I know this year is going to quantum leap my business. See the difference? No buts, only ands. Shivali, you know what too? I love this too. Also, some of the language that I've changed. I always say it's never one or the other. It's never either or. It's always an and. It's never either or. It's always an and. That comes from abundance and prosperity. Either or comes from lack and limitation. So if I want something in my life and I want something else in my life too, and at that moment I can't have both things, or it appears like I can't have both things, I realize that actually I can have both things. I'm just going to choose to have one first. So it's an and. But so many times we're like, oh, either or. I have to choose which one of these two purses I want today. When really what we're just saying is, no, you can have anything that you want in your lifetime. You can have all of it. Which one are you going to have first? Which one can you open up? So it's always an and, not an either or. The other piece with this exercise, what you're going to see is we've put it out according to months, because this worked really, really well for me to be able to reflect upon my year, was to take a look at every single month and to remind myself what I did in that month, where I was in the world, what experiences I have. So your number one tool for this, that's going to help you the most, is going to be your photo camera roll. Okay. So I go in, you can just go into your camera roll and you could put January 2024 and go and look at all the photos you took in January of 2024. You'll see where in the world you were. Yeah, Instagram too, if you're somebody who posts to Instagram regularly. But you can go in and take a look at, where was I in January of 2024? What did I look like? What was the feeling that I was in? Where did I go? Who did I spend my time with? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? Then you can go into February, then you can go into March, you can go into April. So Linda takes pictures of her animals. Okay, so you can gauge your life based on how your animals were doing at that time. Fabulous. I know some people probably have phones full of their kids, pictures of their kids too. So take a look what you were doing with your children. Where were you taking them? What trips were you on? What crafts were you doing? What school trips did you volunteer for? Stuff like that. But it's just a reminder of where you were at that point in your life as you go back. So we've done two sides. On the one side is where you're going to put all of the things that you feel are positive, high vibrational. They were beneficial, helpful, that you want to keep the experience in the subconscious. I don't want you throwing away any gold. Okay, like if you have successes, wins, celebrations, things that you're proud of yourself for, any sort of growth or gain, like any place where you've grown, I want you to really, really keep that and take that with you. That growth is so powerful and beneficial. For you to take into 2025, I don't want you to ditch that. We're not releasing that. We're going to bless it and take it with us. So anything that you feel is positive or good or helpful or beneficial to take into 2025 with you, I want you to put it on the one side. And then anything that you're noticing or you're observing or you're becoming aware of that doesn't sound like it's kindness from a loving perspective, it's maybe a little harsh or limiting or something like that, I want you to put it onto the other side, right? So Tiffany lost 40 pounds. Well, you didn't lose it, you released it. Because if you lose it, then whatever is lost is usually found. So we're just gonna release, let her go forever into the ether. And she quit 2 jobs that were stealing her peace and creativity. Beautiful. So what we want to take into 2025 from that then is that you put your health first, that you put your peace and creativity first, that you made decisions to live and act from an elevated version of yourself in 2 different ways. So good. Congratulations, Tiffany. I lost my jewelry. I better say I released it. No. If your jewelry is missing and you want to find it, then I would say that you've perhaps lost it, because then we find it. What is lost shall be found. But like, if it's something that you don't want back, don't say you released it. Don't say you lost it. Say you released it. I think my mouse just died. Oh gosh. Okay, I'm like wrecking things. Like my mouse just does not even work anymore. So okay, I can't even read the chat anymore. Okay, all good. So the other piece that I want you to do tonight as you are doing this exercise. So tonight you're gonna do the reflection. Some of you did it already. I know some of you knew what was coming because we did it last year. So you did this already, which is great. We can keep doing that. But I want you to reflect. So I want you to end your journaling session or being with oneself by having 2 things on your on this page. You're going to have the one side, which is things you're keeping and taking with you. And then on the other side, the things that you are blessing and releasing. And that is going to be your homework to release it. We're going to do a releasing ritual tonight, all of us. That is your homework. So I'll tell you more about it near the end of today, because you'll probably ask more questions anyways. So we're going to do that. The other piece with this experience is I want you to treat yourself like you would treat your best friend in this experience. So if your best friend came to you and was like, I'm working on this reflection event, I'm taking a look at the year, and I'm taking a look at how things have gone, and if it's beneficial or not, can you give me some feedback? I want you guys to really, really look at it. Sorry, I'm just looking for my charger for my mouse. Put it in here. We're living the real life over here, folks. Technical difficulties, tech issues. I don't know how, I just charged this mouse too. So, I don't know, we're figuring it out. But I want you to treat it like you're your best friend. So, what would you say to your best friend about the year? You would say, oh my gosh, you killed it this year, girl. You were the best. You were amazing. You were incredible. You did this, you did that. You showed up in this way. I saw you do this. Because sometimes what we do with this is we go into the idea that like we've screwed up in some way, that we're wrong, that we're not good enough. And so I don't want you guys feeling that way. I want you to really notice your gains, where you've grown, where you're better than you were the year before. Because that's going to be the jump off point, the starting point to this work and to this growth. So we're going to reflect, but we're going to do it with compassion. We're going to do it grace. We're going to give ourselves self-love. Does anybody have some other things that they have experienced that they want to share in the chat? If you are aware of some of the things that you're going to be super proud of yourself, put it into the chat. And then things that you're maybe going to be releasing, put it into the chat. The reason I'm doing this is because I want you to see some of the things that other people are becoming aware of and noticing. So it's just an awareness for you as you do this. Sometimes the ego says, I don't know. Okay. So the ego wants to protect you. It wants to keep you safe. It wants you to stay in the same place. It wants you to be comfortable. So what the ego will do is it will say, oh, I don't know. I don't know how the year went. I don't know. I don't know where I did good things. I don't know where I messed up. It will just say, I don't know. And you do know. All of us do know. We do know how we feel. We do know what works for us. We do know what makes us happy. We do know what makes us sad. The problem is that many of us have lost the ability to trust ourselves because we have learned to live outside of ourselves instead of to live within ourselves. And so we seek external validation. We seek the outside world to tell us that we're on the right track, that we're doing the right thing, that we are enough, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what I'm actually just doing by asking all of you to put it into the chat is I'm just asking the outside world to give you the information that the inside of you already knows and has. And so if you see something and you go, oh, that's me. all we did was your inner knowing went, there it is. The ego went away for a little bit. Your inner knowing went, oh, there it is. So that's why a lot of times this work can be emotional. I know I saw a couple of people say that they're crying already. I'm going to make you cry, men and women. And you're going to feel so good after you do. You're going to be in a beautiful release state. It's going to be cathartic. We're going to move that energy to and through you. But there's lots of different ways of crying. There's crying related to grieving and loss and missing people. There's crying of disappointment in yourself. There's crying in sadness that you didn't, hold yourself up to your standard. But there's also crying from people that have hurt you in your life, people that have disappointed you or upset you. There's crying related to traumatic experiences. You think back to them and they make you cry almost immediately. But there's also tears of joy, and there's tears of love and tears of gratitude. This morning, I had to take a picture of this. It was something else. My team is the most incredible group of powerful, beautiful souls to have ever been attracted to this work around. Like, I really believe that every single person that is on my team is a vibrational and magnetic match to source energy. And what's so beautiful about that is that they love this work. They love serving and helping people and leading through this work. But they are so in spirit and in love and in gratitude. So before we come on to these events, we have a Zoom together where the team gets together. And we did a visualization as a collective team. And in that visualization, we visualize the experiences that we wish to have. We visualize the impact that we wish to make as a team. We visualize how we want to serve and what kind of impact we want all of you to have. We visualize your growth. We visualize you all winning. We visualize you all experiencing your freedom. And so as we were doing that this morning, I took a picture of it because my team was so connected, so tapped in. They were all eyes closed. Many had hands on their hearts. My mom and dad, my mom had her head on my dad's shoulder as we were doing it. I saw tears in many of my team's eyes, Deborah's eyes for sure. And it's just so beautiful to be able to witness emotion in a safe space that allows people to ascend and grow, and to be vulnerable and to grow, to become an elevated version of you amongst a safe environment to do so. So I'm sharing this because I want all of you to feel safe to express yourself, to feel emotions, to be able to do that. There's this thing in this world that tells us that we have to be hard. We can't cry. I'll never forget that movie, A League of Their Own, where one of them says the coach says there's no crying in baseball. Well, you know what? There is crying in my world. There is crying in all of my world. On all meetings, on Zooms, we're crying everywhere, and we're normalizing it. And it's not like tears of just boo-hoo, woe's me, my life sucks, let's all sit here and just cry together. No, it's transformative emotion. It's emotion that moves, that shifts, that serves you so beautifully well. So I want you to do that. The last thing, please write this down. How did it feel? How did it feel? Okay, so as you're reflecting on the year and you're reflecting upon your experiences, I want you to also connect in to the emotional state that whatever that story or meaning that you're giving to the experience has created in you. So what you could do is, if it were me, I would probably organize it this way, is let's say I'm looking at January of last year. January of last year, I spent the most of the entire month of January in Malibu. I rented a beautiful 3-bedroom house. I did a retreat with my team in January. I went back and I looked at my January because I'm like, what did I do? We did a team retreat. I spent the month of January in Malibu. I started the new year with my daughters with me in Malibu as well as a family. But also in January, I went through a very, very powerful, I don't want to give it too much meaning, but what the common human would say would be like heartbreak. So there was this incredible, powerful feeling of gratitude and love for being in Malibu and being with my team. But then there was also this overwhelming feeling of sadness. So see how I'm starting to now tap into the emotional states with which I experienced during the year. And that's what I want you to do. And then as you get to the end of the year, you'll start to notice patterns, habits, and programs. Okay? So you're going to start to notice themes. So what I for sure will start to see in my year is themes of gratitude, themes of growth, themes of love, all that kind of stuff, of transformation. Now, if I start noticing a theme of sadness all the time, that's an awareness. Why am I experiencing so much sadness in my life? And this is where we're going to figure out what that underlying belief system is. What in the identity, what in the subconscious mind, what do you keep doing that you keep choosing sadness? The other way to put it is what keeps happening to me that I'm so sad about, but that is an unaware way of looking at life. A consciously aware way of looking at life is to say, why do I keep choosing and experiencing sadness in my life? There is something that you keep choosing that is bringing the feeling of sadness into your life. And what you don't change, you choose. So relationships are such a beautiful example of this. You know, if you grew up in a household or a relationship where conflict was normal and natural, what are you going to do in your life? You're going to enter into a relationship where conflict is natural and normal. So you might even say to yourself, but I want a peaceful, loving relationship. I don't want to fight. Like, I just want to be like kumbaya, love each other all the time. Like, and then you start noticing that you keep dating and getting into relationships where conflict occurs. It's just your habit. It's just your pattern. It's just your program. So there's an opportunity for you to go in and to reprogram it and to choose something different. But that's the awareness. That's the reprogramming of the subconscious mind. So this is where I really want you to tap into the feeling. I've never had anybody do this in this reflection event before. I've never had anybody tap into this feeling behind it. But I really think that it's an important part. Every single one of you holds an identity about who you think you are in this world. And if you've been in my work for some time, that identity is constantly evolving. It's shifting. It's lightening up. It's becoming more empowered. It's becoming more influential. It's becoming brighter. It's becoming more loving, more free, more in a state of more flow. Okay, so you're every single day getting closer and closer to who you really are. That real experience of who you are. So wonderful and great. But every single identity that we hold has a feeling attached to it. So what you will notice by the end of reviewing this year, you're going to be able to have a feeling that you will notice is the feeling of you and the feeling of being you this year. Some of you, it might be very empowering, and some of you, it might not feel very empowering, but that's okay, because we're going to choose a new feeling and a new word and a new identity for 2025, so that we're not replaying the old, that we're starting from the new. Real creation, real manifestation. It's doing something you've never done before. It's being someone you've never been before. So if you're somebody that is so comfortable in staying in the same place, who does not want to do something that they've never done before, I don't know why you're here. Like, it actually makes no sense. So what does that mean about all of you? That you all want to become aware of how to do something different, how to be someone different, and how to experience a different life. And creating your reality, true creation, is your life. My biggest creation, my biggest manifestation is my life. It has been custom designed by me. And so each and every one of us have that ability. Neil Donald Walsh, in Conversations with God, he said there's 3 tools of creation: our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions. 3 tools of creation: thoughts, feelings, and actions. So you're literally creating your own reality based on how you're thinking, how you're feeling, and how you're behaving. So what I'm getting you to do with this reflection event is I'm getting you to use your thoughts to think about and reflect upon your life in the past 11 months. Now I'm getting you to feel the feeling associated with the thoughts of 2024. And then tonight we are going to do a bless and release ceremony. Let's see if I got some juice in my mouse. Yes, I do. I'm just scrolling the thousands of comments now that my mouse is back and running. Mercury retrograde, is that what it is? Okay, let's go. Mercury retrograde can only affect me if I believe in it. If I believe it can. You can't touch me. See, I'm using my thoughts, my feelings, and my actions. And I would even say words. Words, they cast spells. That's why it's called spelling, right? So we want to make sure that our words line up with the thoughts and the feelings and the actions. But anyway, so the action we're going to take tonight to bless and release is going to be that third piece. Then tomorrow we're going to go back into our thoughts. We're going to go back onto the creative plane. We're going to create vision boards of our life. Vision boards for 2025. Fantastic. How exciting. Then we're going to feel the feeling of what it feels like to have all of it. Oh my gosh, we're going to get emotionally involved. We're going to build the desire for it. I'm going to get you to fall in love with your vision board. But then what do we need to do? We need to go and do it, like be it, experience it. So thoughts, feelings, words, and actions. Okay, I'm putting it all together. Act on it. We must live and act as the version of us that has the life that's on the vision board. Yeah. Rose already made a vision board. She's going to update it. Oh yeah. I'm hopeful. No, I'm not hopeful. I don't use that word. I'm confident that Rose, you will, without a shadow of a doubt, add way more to your vision board, think way bigger, bolder, more daring after this event for that vision board. I'm looking at my vision board right now. Okay, is Eric here yet, team? Is Eric Bigger here? Let's see. I want to talk to him. He is. Where is he? Is he going to be all spiffy? Is he going to look good? Where are you? I can't find him.
Queen, how are you?
Okay, I can't see you, so hold on. Let them. Oh, there he is. Okay, I'm just going to pin you. Oh, there he is. Oh, okay. Eric Bigger, how are you?
Phenomenal. How are you?
You know how I am. I just want to tell everybody how you and I met because I think it's a super fun little story.
Sure.
One day, Eric tagged me on Instagram. I think it was your Eric Bigger Books.
Bigger Speak. Yeah.
Yeah, E Bigger Speaks. He tagged me and he did a little review of my first book, Becoming the One. And I was like, who is this guy? He's kind of familiar. I don't know. And then I went over and looked at his other account because you could see the other account. And I was like, oh, he's really into this stuff. And then I saw that he was on some TV shows and stuff. And I was like, oh, I love that he's in this work, but he's also kind of in entertainment a little bit and living out in LA. It was intriguing. Anyway, so we connected on Instagram. We hopped on a Zoom call. When was that?
That was probably September of 2022.
Oh, so the year I had my surgery. Yeah, the year I had my surgery. And I would love to go back and see that original Zoom call and see what we looked like back then. That would be really fun.
Yeah,
but anyway,
already. I had just moved into my building in Hollywood, so time flies.
Yeah, and he remembers that I was wearing red, but I don't own any red. So
trust me, I remember.
Anyway, but what was so beautiful about that is we went on and had a Zoom call, and we are very much alike in the way that we think in studying of this material. He's studied under Bob as well, so we really connected on all that stuff. And then I went to LA and we went to Soho House. We had dinner, and then I remember asking you, "Hey, I want to do a hike or something," and you said, "I'll take you on a hike." And then he's like. And then after we did the hike, you said something along the lines of, if you want me to train you while I'm here, I'll train you. And then he's just trained me ever since. I've never gone back.
Yeah. So time flies. I mean, it's been a journey. To be transparent, when I ran into Kathleen, I saw her Instagram, and I didn't believe what she was saying. I'm like, really? Creator of 20 million? Really? Stop it. The funny thing is, I had an alumni at Hampton University give me your book. So I'm a type of person, I'm gonna go do the work, I'm gonna go investigate, I'm gonna go integrate my curiosity into who she is. So I read the book and I was like, oh, she's tuned in, tapped in, dialed in. But then I went to YouTube and I'm like, oh, she really knows this work. And so I shared one of her videos on Instagram. And then we, like you said, connected via DM. And then we just went on this journey of building this rapport and building this relationship and this friendship and this connection. And Kathleen was the first person to say, Eric, you're a star seed. I'm like, I'm a star seed. What the hell does that mean? She's like, you're a star seed. Look it up. I'm like, okay, okay. She speaks my language. And over the time of being in Kathleen's present, she, by the way, she has a Scorpio rising. She's very intense. Like she gets it done. She transforms. Like this woman, she does the work when she's uncomfortable, when she's overwhelmed, when she might have a cycle, when everything's gonna. She does the work and she shows up and she's consistent, right? I remember maybe early last year, she actually is the reason that spiritual fitness was birthed. She was the guinea pig, and she said, "Eric, you're more than a trainer. Come on, man, really?" And I remember saying her prayer, and she started to cry, and I'm like, "Why are you crying? Like, what are you crying about?" And Kathleen don't even know she's the anchor of the expansion of spiritual fitness. So, Kathleen, thank you for that. And so, to
Oh,
everybody that's on the call, if you want to change your frequency, if you want to change your life, you want to be in Diamond Academy. Because also on top of that, going to the retreat in Mexico last year, I was gathered by so many beautiful, empowering, willing women who wanted more for their life. And through their vessel and through Kathleen's programs and community, I was able to help them expand and they're able to help me expand spiritual fitness even more. So I've never in my life, I've studied this material for years. Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Mary Morrissey, Bob Proctor, you name it, Michael Beckwith. I've never seen so many women expand their consciousness and change their life with information. And I think this is where we're going in a collective. And this is where, if you're a woman, if you're a man, if you want to be in this energy, it's worth the investment, it's worth the time, it's worth the challenge for you to get uncomfortable. Because, like she was saying, if you don't want to get uncomfortable and change, then it might not be for you. But it really is good medicine for your soul.
yeah. I think what's so beautiful too, Eric, is because you've become such a beautiful member of our Diamond Academy family. So, Eric is, he personally trains me in the gym, but there's so much more to the experience of the fitness or the physical activity that we do. That prayer, that was the first time that anybody had prayed for me in front of me when he did that at his gym in West Hollywood. That many years ago, and that's part of what Eric does now is he does prayers at the end of every single workout. And I didn't know. I thought he was used to doing prayers all the time in front of people. So when he came to my retreat in Mexico, I was like, "Oh, can you lead a prayer?" And he was just like, "Yeah." And he just got up there. But then later he was like, "I'd never done that before. I'd never led like a group prayer in front of people." And then you
So
came,
uncomfortable.
but didn't you lead one Manifest Toronto too?
Yeah.
And that was like 300 and something people.
Yeah. And that was right after I got back from Peru doing plant medicine. So I
Yeah.
haven't integrated all the messages. But the great thing about Kathleen, Kathleen is really working through divine source. Like her doing that for me has amplified that part of me in so many ways. Because I've always prayed, I just never showed the world. And when we're in Mexico and it's 30, 35 people, I'm so uncomfortable. No one knows it. And I'm like, okay, let's pray. But that's the energy I want to be in because it did expand. And then on top of that, Kathleen, let's talk about it. My fear of the ocean.
I was just going to ask you to share this story because this is the power behind this work, okay?
Yeah. So what you guys don't know who don't know me, or you do know. For years, I was afraid of the water. I couldn't swim. So maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I took 18 lessons with a coach in a pool that was 8 feet, and it was fine. But I was like, I would never do that in the ocean. So we go on the yacht at the retreat. It's probably about 15, 20 of us. all of them women, maybe two or three guys. And I mean, Kathleen mother is jumping in. Wendy's jumping in like, come on, girls.
She was the first one in. Wendy's always the first one in the water.
Everyone's jumping here. I'm the trainer. Trust me, my ego was bruised. And then I don't know if Helen is on a call. She's like, come on, Eric, you want to get in there. And in my mind, I'm like, if I leave this ocean and don't get in this water, I'm going to regret it. I'm going to feel. And she's like, come on. So Kathleen comes like, come on, want to get in? I got you. I jump in right behind you. And I realized as a man, that's what men really want from the woman in their life. Is support in a way that you feel amplified that you can do it, even if you don't know you can get through it. So
Mm.
as I'm sitting there, this my spirit came to me and said, "Yeah, you just gotta trust." Because in my life, she was talking about how you were raised. I didn't trust life. I didn't trust people. I trusted myself. So here I am. I gotta trust God. I gotta trust the ocean that I'm gonna be okay. And granted, I could swim. And let me tell you something. When I jumped in, it was like magic and miracles. It was just like I had this relief just off my shoulder, and it was just like it was a prayer. It opened me up. And which I don't know, I didn't tell you this, Kathleen, but Katie and I was on a boat ride over to the island, right? I was so afraid, right? Because the waves was. But let me tell you something. When I left to go back to the States at 4 in the morning, it was dark outside. I had no fear in my body because I rose and I rise at
Yeah.
that retreat with everybody else, and my life changed. And like I said, what you give the world is through God, consciousness, and your higher self. And you different. You're the oracle. Anybody seen the Matrix? Kathleen is the oracle, and she's just a beautiful soul who's here to inspire, to impact, and to get women to really know their power, be their power, so they can give the power. And so I
Yeah.
think,
Eric, what does it say behind you on your poster?
oh, this is the feelings board. See that?
Feelings are much like waves. We can't stop them from coming, but we can choose, what does it say? Which one to surf. This is huge. This is part of what we teach actually in Diamond Academy and in the men's embodiment is emotional regulation. Understanding that it is up to you to become aware of your emotions and then to be able to choose them and regulate them. It's a skill. It's a skill. It's 777 people keep being on here, Eric, as we're talking. 777 on the Zoom.
Alignment, bigs. That's what
I know.
alignment.
But Eric, there's something else. Like with you being so close to me in my life, you've observed the people around me, the students in Diamond Academy, whether they're in Millionaire Modern Mentor or the Inner Circle or even one-on-one clients. You train some of my one-on-one clients. What do you notice about the people that are in this work and in my energy?
Well, I would just say, can I say names? I don't know if I can say names.
I think you probably can. I don't know. I don't think they'll be mad.
Okay, well, what I do know, I'll say one name. I'll say Deepika. Deepika has really evolved. I think she's in your inner circle. I'm not sure,
She's
but
also a one-on-one client. Yep.
yeah, she has evolved so much, and she has expanded her vessel and her consciousness so much. She just retired in August from her corporate job of 12 years to go start Soul Sparks Press on one of her authors, and she has 10x her business within 2 to 3 months. And she's a different woman. I mean, we train 3 times a week. She moves her energy, but what's changing about her is how she's thinking. I think you guys were here last week. We went to Martin Katz's penthouse, and we was looking at some jewelry, and it was just beautiful to have all my clients together, like just connecting and just to see the growth just from a
Yeah.
year of doing that rise to now. So Deepak is someone who's expanded so much, and it's just beautiful. Shannon, who's on your team, she's got through so much contrast in her life, and she's just on the other side of it.
Mhm.
It's a beautiful soul. Rosie, Debbie. I mean, it's just I can't even explain. I've never see. Here's the thing: as a man, I thought I would be inspired by men. I've never been so inspired by women who want more, who want to win, who want to grow, who want more for themselves. They want to expand their vessel to receive more light, so they can be the light and live the dreams of their life, like Kathleen Cameron. And here's the thing: they continue to show up. Rain, sleet, or snow, good, different, or bad, they show up. And I think that is the difference between people who want to do this work and the people who say they want to do work. They show up when it doesn't make sense. They show up when it's uncomfortable, and they show up when there's so much uncertainty. Therefore, they get the certainty that they're looking for. So,
Yeah. So, Eric's so beautiful. And I think, what I've just really, really observed with having you in my life is you are a reflection for me. So I feel like Eric is one of my biggest cheerleaders. He is always telling me things that elevate me, that help me to grow, that inspire me, motivate me. He plants these seeds. I don't know if he even realizes he does it, but he plants these seeds in your mind, these beliefs. And I do the same thing. We plant seeds in each other's minds. But I think what's really cool is Eric has gotten a chance to actually see how I embody this work. I'll never forget when that one day when you were like, you really you don't just read a book and then put it down. Like you become the book. And I was like, yes, yes. So maybe tell them a little bit more about
yeah, I
who
think, like I said, it's like, and I'm gonna just be all the way clear. So a lot of my clients who are high end, successful entrepreneurs, the consistency pattern that I've witnessed is execution, application, and integration. They get it done. They show up. And Kathleen, like she says, she can change a belief in an instant. If she's going to do something, she's doing it.
yeah,
Kathleen says, I'm going to walk every day. She walks every day. I'm going to run a mile every day. She runs a mile every day. Now, it doesn't mean that she's always in the best mind space or emotional space, but she shows up. And I think she's really good. It's a gift. I really think it's a gift, Kathleen, that you can take something. I won't even say the item, but she was in LA and she said, you know what? I would love to have that. And I swear, in like an hour, I'm on a call, I'm on the phone, and she's at someone's house. I
oh yeah. Are you talking about the Porsche?
was test driving the Porsche, and I'm like,
Oh
what in the world? How is this even possible? She's like, because if I want something, I get it. And she's the true embodiment of what she preaches, what she teaches, and what she says. And it's not a myth. It's not, she does it. How she does it, I don't really know. That's what I've been trying to get her to, can you explain how? She's like, you just do it, right? And I think it's a gift of hers, and she does it really well. And it's really simple, right? If you just do the unthinkable with faith, it will happen. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's so important though to really understand that the how is about who you are being and the decisions that you make. And so when Eric says like I'm disciplined and I work out in the gym and I show up and I keep doing it, that's not who I used to be. Like I was 320 pounds in 2022 and I hated, despised working out. It was awful and disgusting. And even when he had me go to the gym, I was like, oh, I hate this. It's too masculine. But what did I do? I convinced myself that I love it. And so even like when we first started working out, I would I do self-talk in the gym. I say like I can do this. I'm so powerful. I'm so strong. Like, oh yeah, yeah, I can do anything you tell me to do, Eric. And I tell myself a story that serves me. And so now I've fallen in love with having him as my trainer because I convinced myself I do. So I hypnotized myself into believing he's the best trainer in the world and that I love working out with him. So now it's benefiting both of us for me to believe that because that is a belief that serves me.
And
It
that thing you
benefits my life.
use is really good. I kind of took that from you. I was in the gym at one time. I'm like, Kathleen really talks to herself when it gets hard, but she says it's easy. So if I'm running on my last mile, and I'm like, come on, let's go. You got this easy work. Like that's Kathleen. She's like, I'm an athlete. I can do this. I'm a baddie. Like, like she
Oh yeah.
she gets in there. And honestly, you said before I came on, words are powerful. They edify you. They take you to the next level. What we speak, we reap, good or bad. And so I think we take words for granted because we don't understand their power. Like you said, they cast spells. So when you think something's hard and you speak hard, that's what we get, right? So all the stuff you do, the little things, the consistency, the discipline comes from a belief that you establish because you want different, you want change, and you want to be the best at what you do.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and it's a belief, and you do it, and you're doing it.
And,
So,
and Eric, we had a question come through on the YouTube channel, and I think it's so good for you to answer it because I know that this was growth for you.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay. So this YouTube question said, I'm afraid of my spiritual abilities, afraid to share it and show it. So I just work every day as a nurse. What do I do?
That's a great question. That's someone told me. Someone I mean, last night about the same thing. So what we got to understand before I get into the answers, spirituality is universal, right? Religion is different, but spirituality is universal. So for me, I kept the secret of my spiritual powers to myself because for so long, I didn't have a community like Diamond Academy. I didn't have a tribe of men or women tuned in, tapped in like I was. So I always felt out of place, always felt like not a part of the crowd, and I always felt this fear of if I really show this, people gonna think I'm weird, something's wrong. They already know I'm different. Like you're just different, you're just different, that's just you. But people don't talk about spirituality and growth. That it's not that that you are lonely, but sometimes you are alone because on this journey it's different. So, and I'm gonna share this too. So not only did Kathleen amplify my prayer and powers and gifts, but my dad last year he was in and out of the hospital, and all I could give my dad, I'm actually writing a book about this, is my spirit of prayer when I wasn't with him. And when I got with him, every time I prayed, he got better. So that showed me my power. So if you're this nurse that's on right now and you're struggling with your power of spirituality or whatever's in your spirit, that's your higher self trying to call you to the light so you can be the spiritual nurse, right? You should start praying with the patients right now and then amplifying their bodies and their vessels and then start tuning into the people around you because you have a calling that's wanting you to answer the phone because now prayer is my. I prayed 10 times yesterday. I probably prayed 7 times already. No lie, I'm not even lying to you. But I'm not doing it because I'm living in fear or scarcity. When I'm moved to pray, I pray. I prayed before I got on this call. I prayed in the shower this morning. I prayed when I woke up. It's part of my gift. That's my gift. So what is your gift? And I think a lot of times we judge who we are because it doesn't make sense for the collective. It doesn't have to make sense for them. Praying makes sense for me. So if you don't believe in prayer, that's fine. But guess what? I'm gonna continue to pray. I'm gonna continue to love you and let you know what your powers are. So to the nurse, you love, can you please DM me and can you please tap into your spirituality because the world needs you and the world is changing. Light workers, healers, astrologers, numerologists will be the new medicine that people look for because we don't care about what you have. We want to know who you are, and spirituality allows you to tap into that side of
So beautiful. And the other piece too that I will just say is that the fear doesn't come from your higher spiritual self. The fear comes from the human and the patterning and the programming and what you're just used to. So the most powerful thing that I have learned to do is to understand that anything that involves fear, worry, doubt, rejection, unmet expectations, displeasure, sadness, anything like that is not actually real. It's simply just an illusion. Like to be afraid of something, that's not who and what you really are. Who and what you really are is a spiritual being. And that spiritual being is the all of everything and has everything and is everything and longs for or needs nothing. So it's just an awareness to recognize, and this is where I say it's my human. I say all my humans out. So your human is in fear because it's comfortable and it's safe and it's the pattern in the program. But that higher self, that higher spiritual being that is saying, wait, we're here. Like you have these abilities. You have this way that you can impact people that you haven't yet done. That's the God in you speaking. And so it's just knowing and understanding that duality, and then you get to decide which one you want to be. You get to choose that. Eric, so many questions about prayer. So I did a prayer this morning when we first started. So if you're like, what's an example of prayer? I ran you through a quick gratitude prayer when we started this live event. The other thing with prayer, the way in which I pray for myself is a prayer of thank you. So I actually don't like ask for things. I don't say, God, please do this for me or please deliver me this. I actually say, thank you for all the things that you have delivered and all the things that you will continue to deliver. And thank you for protecting so-and-so and protecting so-and-so. But Eric, how are you feeling right now about showing them how you do a prayer?
Oh, I mean, I can just give the words or the formula to how I pray. So growing up, prayer was always in religion. This is what I've been trying to tell a few close people of mine, but at least back home, is that why does it religion in some aspects teach from or preach from such a scarcity lack mentality, like fear? right? Why should I fear something I love? And it's like, well, it's not fear, it's reverence. I said, great. So I used to pray with that fear behind me, right, as a child. And then
Yeah.
I grew up and I evolved. I'm like, no, I pray with the intentions of it's already happened. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this live. Thank you for all the 757 people here with us today. Open up our vessels to receive the greatest light. Open us up to receive the divine intelligence, the wisdoms that each individual needs to see for their higher self. Because their soul is different from all of us, but we're all connected as one. So when I'm praying, I'm getting into the energy of what my soul wants and not my ego, because the ego wants the money, the ego wants the relationship, the ego wants the healing to stop and the frustration. But ask the creator to give you the information and the wisdom to transform your soul, the wisdom to transform your relationship, the information to sustain this business and every like give you the tools and the insight. So, but the prayer is not coming from a lack and limitation mindset. So if you're going to pray, I would get in such a high vibrational state or peaceful, neutral state, right? Put on some music or put on some good tunes because whatever we speak will manifest with the energy behind it. You ever talk to someone and you're like, I don't know, they seem cool, but it's the frequency behind their words. There's something going on in the background. So imagine it's like I'm being positive about this affirmation, but deep down in my subconscious, I'm sad, I'm in fear, I'm worried. It can't really crystallize for me because the background frequency isn't belief, isn't trust, it's fear. So I would say be mindful when you're praying. Just try to pray in a vulnerable state of peace, neutrality, or bliss, or when you're feeling good, right?
Yeah.
I think Dr. Joe Dispenza says that. He said, if I get out of meditation and I feel up, I'll go right back into the meditation.
Yeah. And Eric, I was just actually talking about this before you came on. I was talking about the sponsoring thought. You know,
Right.
how we say we want this, but we have this underlying belief that we can't have it or it's not there. That's the underlying fear based thinking that's going through it all. So even when you set the intention to pray, is the intention behind a prayer desperation? Please, God, rescue me from this horrible situation I'm in. Or is it a prayer of, thank you, God, for showing me that this problem is already solved? It's a different type of energy. That's what I always say. That's one of the statements that I got from Robert Russell. Thank you for showing me that this problem is already solved. So in there, I move out of the problem and into the solution. But prayer is a very, very powerful thing. But we don't only pray by sitting there and speaking. You pray by your thoughts. You pray through your words, through your actions. A prayer is an ask, right? So anytime you're asking for something of the universe, you are in a state of prayer, which is beautiful. I want to read this thing, Eric. I don't know if you've ever read this. I just got to find it on the page. Okay. I want you to hear this. This is from Neil Donald Walsh, okay? Love him. He says, my name is Neil and I've talked with God. So have you. Okay? This paragraph, this is so powerful. You may not think that you have, but you have. You've probably just called it something else. You may have called it the most loving feeling, the most life-affirming thought, the most expansive inspiration you've ever had, or simply a blinding flash of insight, a brilliant idea, an incredible hunch, a stroke of genius, an amazing coincidence, pure serendipity, or your remarkable intuition. So this is how we talk to God. It's not just sitting down and praying. It's by who you are being, what you are thinking. It is your intuition. God talks to you right back through you, but are you listening?
And I want to share something because I think, we put prayer in a category and we leave it there. Where prayer is the breath work, prayer is the walking, prayer is the intimacy, prayer is the shower. So anything you do with the most love and joy is a prayer. Because guess what? When you do it, how do you feel? You feel free, you feel relieved, you feel happy, you feel fulfilled. That is prayer, right? So we don't got to put prayer in a box just like sometimes we put love in a box. I think yesterday I think you put a post up today about love is medicine, but relationships, we want love for the relationship instead of saying we want the relationship to expand our consciousness. And then eventually by expanding your consciousness, just like in Diamond Academy, you expand your life. And I think that's why we should be it's that simple.
Yeah. Eric, so good. So anybody that has been hanging out with me for a long time, or they just met me and they are thinking about, okay, I'm going into 2025. I want to have the best year that I could possibly have. What advice would you give them?
I would say invest in yourself, right? I would say get in Kathleen's energy, um, be curious about it, learn from her, but learn from her to learn your ways. Because sometimes we let Kathleen, whoever we, giving our energy to, their ways to be our ways, but she's going to teach you your way by giving her ways. So get
Mhm.
into this energy, get into this medicine, get into this group of women and change your life with the intentions, I'm going to be better. My life changed when I invested in myself. My life changed when I was around people who were doing better, who wanted more for life. So if you want more, you want better, invest in yourself. The
Yeah.
greatest investment you'll make is in yourself, and the hardest work we're doing in life is on ourselves. So at the end of the day, you got to look at it. This time next year, where you want to be energetically, where you want to be financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. I want to be better. And I don't know anywhere in the world, maybe there are, where there's a collective consciousness where people want to expand and grow and do better because of their spirit and not their flesh. And that's
Yeah.
the
Oh, you just put that in such beautiful words. Look at this. I didn't do this on purpose. Butterfly, butterfly. It's my
yeah.
spirit sign. Anybody else's spirit sign is butterfly. Look at this.
Yeah.
Two of them right here. I did not do that on purpose. Anyway, Eric, I appreciate you so much. You are such an integral part of my journey and my growth. So I want to thank you for everything that you do for me. And life will bring you people into your life based on who you are being. So it was not an accident that Eric and I brought each other into each other's lives because energetically we're in alignment. So there has to be that alignment for that to come through. So that's the path and the realization of the manifestations is when you start to elevate and ascend, you'll call in different people and people that are inspiring and motivating, inspirational in themselves. So Eric, appreciate you so much. Thank you for coming on, and I'll see you for our workout tomorrow.
Tomorrow, we on. All right.
Tomorrow,
Love,
we're on.
love, like, guys, be great. Invest in yourself, love yourself, know yourself, and get in Diamond Academy. That's how you will grow yourself because I've grown. Be the vessel of the diamond.
You know what
And
I'm
that's
gonna do? You know what I'm gonna do too? Can you please text me the picture that was taken of you right after you jumped in? Because I'm gonna put it on my story so you guys can see his
I got a
face.
photo, I got the video. Maybe
Oh,
Casey.
send me the video then.
Yeah, video,
But
yeah,
there
yeah.
is a picture that Dana took of you right after you jumped into the water,
Oh
and you have
yeah.
the biggest smile on your face. It's just such an example because right before you're about to jump
I'm
into
scared.
something, it feels scary. But the moment you're in the water, you have a big smile on your face, you're happy. It was like the funnest thing you ever did, right? That's what this work is, which is so good. Anyway, send it to me.
All right, bye. Love.
Okay.
See you later.
Appreciate you guys. Okay, thank you, Eric. What else? I forgot about the clapping. What I will do is I'll post that picture or the video, whichever one he sends me, to my stories on Instagram so you guys can see because it's such a beautiful, beautiful example. You know, how long was he sitting in that fear? The boat ride over, and then on that boat ride, he was sitting in it in the thick of the fear, and then he jumps in, and then there's this picture of him, and he's just like, that's what this is. We face the fear, and then we are the happiest we've ever been. So, oh, Jen's putting his Instagram over there too, so you guys can follow him. Okay, beautiful question in the chat. I also want to say that being a nurse was some of the most rewarding work that I've ever been able to do. I'm so grateful for my time as a nurse. It shaped me and it grew me. But one thing I noticed about being a nurse is that I was doing things for other people to help. It's a caring profession. I wanted to help people. I wanted to help them become better, fix their problems. I'm somebody that wants to fix people's problems, obviously. My career choices. But what was so beautiful about that is I never thought about a career that brought me joy in return, right? So that was the thing about being a nurse is that I wasn't in a joyful energy. I wasn't in a joyful feeling. It was quite stressful, exhausting, tiring. It's hard work and long hours and shifts and things like that. And so what I'm super grateful for is that I decided to become a version of myself that serves in an even bigger way, in a rewarding way, that's still in a caring and loving profession. But now I get the joy back in return, doing what I love. experiencing life in a way that makes me feel the good that life has to offer. So some people feel like maybe I speak a little negatively about nursing, like saying, oh, I used to be a nurse and now this, and that we're trying to say anything negative about the nursing profession, but like absolutely not. It's phenomenal, amazing. It was part of my life. It led me to who I am. But I just chose to create a life for myself that has way more joy in it, which is so beautiful. What brings me joy? Yes, Karen, what brings me joy? And still serving and helping and leading, but in a way that makes you super, super happy. So this right here, this brings me joy. Like, can you tell? Like, I'm absolutely in my glory. I never once am like, oh, I don't want to do that. I literally wake up in the morning and I'm like, yes, I get to teach today. I can't wait. I'm so excited for what I get to do next today. And that's how I want to live this life, this human experience is in that place. And so one of the things we do is we help people to move out of the box that they're currently in and to completely dismiss that box and move into another one. So an event like this, reflection event like this, and looking back on your year and looking back at the choices you continue to make, it's beautiful awareness, but you are going to have to make a new choice. Like I had to say, I'm not going to be a nurse anymore. I'm not going to renew my license. I'm not going to go back there. Like I had to choose that. There's no reality where I'm doing this and being a nurse at the exact same time. I would not have the capacity. So it's truly about moving that energy, right? And making a new decision. So with this reflection event and exercise. So the first thing that we're doing is we're going to reflect. We're going to ask ourselves the questions. We're going to go through the year. What are some of the positive things that we feel we're going to take with us? And what are some of the things that we're going to release? What were the feelings that we were in during every month of the year? The good feelings and the bad feelings, because it's not just going to be one emotion. It's a law of rhythm. It's a law of opposites. So we're going to have multiple emotions. We're going to have multiple experiences. Then when you look outside of it, you know what I mean? So you've done the exercise, you've done the journaling, you're now got all your notes. You're going to come out from outside of it. And I would even venture to say, if you can look at it from a higher spiritual perspective, this is the most profound work that you will ever do. You can't see the fear if you're in the fear, right? So I want you to come outside of it. So what I do to come from a higher spiritual perspective is to sit with myself with my hand on my heart. Okay, I feel like when I put my hand on my heart, it allows me to drop out of my head and to move into my heart. And I'll feel the feeling of love. So for you, it might be love for yourself, love for the world. It could be love for another person. Whatever that is, I always move into a loving feeling. What I find that does is it connects me to the higher spiritual perspective. Because when I'm heavy in my human, I'm taking things personal, my feelings are hurt, I'm sad, I'm upset, I'm worried about something, I'm feeling limited, I'm frustrated, maybe I'm super, super tired. You know, Eric, he talked about my cycle. Maybe I'm on my cycle. I know that when I go on my cycle, I'm a little more emotional. I'll just cry for no reason, literally. It's like, I don't know why I'm crying. I'm just crying because I'm crying, and that's okay. So, but I've got to come out of those things. So I always put my hand on my heart and I let come out of my head and I come right into my heart and I just feel love. Okay. And when I feel that, I notice that shift, I'm now in my higher spiritual perspective. That's how I do it. I don't know what works for you, but that works for me. So when I'm in the higher spiritual perspective, I can review my notes from an empowered place. I can review my notes from a place where I'm not limited. I can review my notes about fear from a non-fearful state. I can come outside of the mind to see what's going on in the mind and to be an observer. So I might review the year from that place and go, oh, wow, I kept making the same decision. Even though I told myself I was going to make a new one, I never did. Why not? It might be something like, oh, I've noticed a pattern here where every single month last year I made the same amount of money. Never made more. Not a single month. Every single month I made the exact same amount. What does that tell you? It's a pattern. It's a habit. You're programmed to make the same amount of money every single month. Okay, great feedback. Good. See, from the higher spiritual perspective. So once we come from that higher spiritual perspective, I want you to notice the patterns, and I want you to make a decision that you're going to release 3 things. I think on the worksheet, it says that you can cut the worksheet in half and burn the one side, but I actually want you to choose 3 things that you are releasing and not taking with you into 2025. 3 things. Don't just sit here and say 3 random things from nowhere. We're looking at the year, we're looking at 2024, and we're going to look at some of the decisions that we never made, some of the actions that we never acted on, some of the goals we set in January that we never accomplished. We're going to look at, where did I fall off? So if I said that I was going to work out 3 days a week, every single week, and that lasted until March, we're going to go, okay, it's an awareness. I'm going to revisit that again. So what am I going to do now? I'm going to be more consistent or disciplined, right? So somebody said in the chat earlier, they said something along the lines of like, that's what I need, more discipline. Okay, wonderful awareness. But that tells me that your identity, that is patterned and programmed in the subconscious mind, is that you are not disciplined, that you lack discipline. You believe you lack discipline, and so you naturally express lack of discipline in your life. So what I would actually do is go into the subconscious mind and reprogram a belief that says that you are disciplined. And so if you are a highly disciplined individual, what would you say? What would be the words that would come out of your mouth? What would be the thoughts that would go through your head every day? What would the feeling be? So for me, like being disciplined with Eric now, it's like, oh, I better book my workouts with Eric in the calendar. Oh, I better put it into my calendar now. Oh, I better go get ready for my workout with Eric. Can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, see you tomorrow at our workout. I'm not going. Oh, I don't want to do this. This sucks. How can I put him off? Oh, I'm too busy, Eric, and like cancel on him and all that. No. Right? So I've reprogrammed a belief in my subconscious mind that I am disciplined and I am consistent. And he even said it to all of you on here about my identity that I programmed. But I was not like that before. I never, ever exercised. And let me tell you something. It was I always set the goal to exercise. It was always this thing where I would say I was going to do it, but I would never do it. And then I started to feel all kinds of guilt and shame about never doing it. I have to work out. I should work out. So I was in this vicious cycle of never doing the thing that I said I was going to do, never deciding to do it because I was just existing from the old identity. So I'm saying this because I want you to notice those things you're doing. What are the things that you put off? What are the things that you avoid? What are the things that keep coming and coming and coming? That they're on your to-do list and you just keep moving them to tomorrow. And you move them to tomorrow and you move them to tomorrow. What is that? And so I want you to notice themes. And then I want you to write 3 things down. And they are the 3 things that you're releasing. So it might look like lack of discipline. Gone. Goodbye. It might be that you doubt yourself. If you've noticed that you were in the feeling of doubt a lot in 2023, you second-guessed your decisions, you second-guessed your investments, you didn't follow through on many of the things that you thought that you wanted to do. You said you were going to do something and you never ever did it because you were too doubtful. Whatever that is, you might decide that you're going to leave doubt behind in 2024. So these three things are the three most pivotal, profound things that you're going to be leaving behind in 2024. Ellen, I love this. I just want to go a little bit deeper into this. So Ellen says, Ellen, it's so good to see you on here. Beautiful. Let me just find it. I'm leaving behind debt, procrastinating and gossiping, or telling the wrong low vibe people stuff who are energy stealers. Okay. So procrastinating, absolutely. Gossiping, absolutely. Telling the wrong low vibe people stuff, I would say it has nothing to do with other people being energy stealers or anything like that. It's your choice to engage in conversational relationships with low vibrational people. So you keep choosing those people. So you're going to control your energy, you're going to control your actions, you're going to control your words, etc. Leaving behind debt though, I want to go deeper. It's not about the debt. What are we actually leaving behind? The thoughts of lack and limitation that exist in the subconscious mind. So I want us to go even deeper. So notice, if you're not making enough money, that's your story, your belief. I want you to go a little bit deeper and recognize, what is it in the thoughts, feelings, and actions? Remember the three tools of creation. Of those three tools of creation, what is the underlying feelings, thoughts, actions that you're in that are creating debt, that are creating not enough money? And we're going to release those, right? And what you will notice with this whole entire exercise is you will start to see what the opposite experience is that you want to bring in instead of it. So if we aren't thinking from lack and limitation, where are we thinking from? Abundance and prosperity, right? You're thinking thoughts of, wow, look at how much everything there is everywhere. Look at how much abundance is everywhere. How much money I've had in my life. How like an abundance of clean drinking water is available to me at every single moment. I can't say that about everybody. Abundance of lights and electricity. There's millions and millions and millions of people that don't even have electricity. They don't even know they don't even experience that. They've never experienced that in their lives. And we get it every day. Not only that, but we get to be on Zoom. We get to pay $50 a month for Zoom. Amazing. So it's just perspective. That's it. It's just perspective. So we're going to think from abundance and prosperity instead of lack and limitation. So that means whenever you have a thought of, I don't have enough, money is lacking, what are you going to do? Not today. No. I do this in my head all the time. Nope. We're thinking this instead. Nope. I'm going to tell you this. The mind is a very powerful thing. It can tell you a story that is absolutely ludicrous, and you will believe it. Like it is absolutely possible for me to sit here and tell you a story about how I'm not making enough money. The mind can do that. No matter where you're at. Whether you have $10 or you have 10 million bucks. The mind can tell you a story that it's not enough, because that's the perspective that you're looking at life through. So I always make sure that my mind is always telling me the best case scenario, the best story about how abundant and prosperous I am, how I always have more than enough. Not even with money, but also I have more than enough health. I have more than enough loving relationships in my life. I have more than enough friends. I have more than enough opportunities. There's more than enough clients. There's more than enough this or that. So it's all about choosing to see the more than enough all around you, the inner sense of plenty. Right? It's a frame of mind. It's an attitude. It's a way of seeing the world. I can pay a bill and be miserable about paying the bill, or I can be grateful for paying the bill. Even if that bill is taking your last $10. You pay that bill and you've got nothing left. You can still be in gratitude for the bill. You can still be in gratitude for the ability to have the thing that the bill gave you access to. Right? So it's super, super important to understand what is it within your patterning and within your programming that is actually creating the suffering within the mind. The greatest human predicament isn't that life is wrong or bad. It's that we think it's wrong or bad. Like, is it that some of us are dealt a really great hand and some of us are dealt a horrible hand and we have no control over it? There's nothing we can do about it? No. All of us have experienced bad traumatic things in our lives. Every single one of us. Every single one of us has experienced contrast, has been through hardships, have experienced loss. All of us. But the biggest thing that keeps you limited is your belief that you are limited. Right? For a while there, we heard about lucky girl syndrome. It went huge on TikTok. You know, where this girl was like, I used to have bad luck. Everywhere I went, I had bad luck. Bad things happened to me all the time. And then I just made a decision one day, you know what? Enough of this. I'm going to be a lucky girl. I'm going to now believe that I'm lucky. And all the good things are going to start happening to me. Luck is going to find me everywhere I go. Here we go. And she started living from the belief that she's lucky. And guess what? Her life completely changed. She started seeing positive things happen. There is this thing called the reticular activating system. It's a part of the brain. It's part of the functionality of how our mind actually works, is that your mind will look for and recognize whatever the story is that you're telling it. It's just a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So if I say that I'm hard done by, I've had a really bad life, I'm limited, I can't do this because of this and this and that, I then will see outside of me all of the evidence to prove it. My mind will literally only see according to that story. All the good in your life, you won't even see it. This is exactly what happened to me when I experienced what humans would call depression. Is literally my mind, because I was depressed and sad and hated my life, all I saw was everything that just confirmed that. It's just confirmation bias. Everything. Yep, see, another example of how bad it is. Oh, look, another example. Oh, here's another example. Oh, there's another example. So what did I do through this work? I decided to do it the other way. I was like, hold on a minute. What if I start telling myself the most empowering story, the most loving story, the most influential story? What if I start telling myself a story about how amazing life is? How good everything gets to be? What if I start telling myself that I'm powerful, that I'm a powerful manifester, that I think something and it shows up in my life just like this? Guess what? My mind went to work. And my mind was like, oh, here's evidence, Kathleen. Oh, here you go. Here's another one. Here's another example. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. And my mind started to notice and observe all the reasons why this is true and real. And so I started to confirm it to myself. Your mind will do that for you. But you have to decide what you're planting in the subconscious mind, the womb of creation. You get to decide what the story is, what the idea is, what the reality is. And then you will find the things that lead to it. I had a beautiful Zoom call yesterday, and this story 100% is going to be told on my podcast, probably all over the world. This man that I was on, I'm actually in business. Chris and I are actually in business with this man. He is so inspiring. And he told a story about how, you know, he went from his darkest moments in his life, darker than many of us have probably experienced. I've never experienced this myself. Very, very dark. And he's now experiencing something that is so absolutely magical that he hasn't even allowed himself to really, he's like, I haven't had a cry about it yet, but I know I need to have a cry about it. Like, it's unbelievable. It's a unicorn, what he has done. and what he's experienced. But he sat there on the call yesterday and he said to me, Kathleen, I need you to tell people that this is real. He said, I can't do it. I don't have the words. I don't have the language, but my life went from here to here because of what you teach, because of this work. It is so real and it is so true. And he's like, I'm the evidence of it, and I need you to be teaching people this. You need to be out there and teaching people that this type of magic is real and that it happens, because he did it. It is the most inspiring thing like I've ever experienced. And I'm so grateful we're in business with him. So we are benefiting very, very greatly from this as well. And it's the biggest manifestation that I've had yet to date. So I'll share more about it in the coming year. We're going to be launching this new software and platform March 3rd. And I'm a founder of it. So I'm super, super grateful. But I had to become KCB to decide to take this on, to become a part of this. And I would have never done it if I didn't believe. So this is where I just want all of you to understand that it's about what you believe to be true and allowing yourself to match the vibration of it. You don't need to know how. And this is the thing, what he said yesterday, he's like, I had no idea how to do this. I had no plan, but everything just happened. I met this person and that person. And I said, it's the bridge of incidents. It's the bridge of incidents, right? And so the bridge of incidents will unfold itself in the realization of what it is that you're desiring, what you're thinking from. The world is not going to give you what you don't believe is true for you. Bridge of incidents. Okay, Laura, I'll tell you, I've got a couple minutes. So KCB is an identity. One of the things that I do is I create continual rises in consciousness. So rises in consciousness are me deciding to think new thoughts, be a different version of myself, experience life in a new and different way, one that I haven't been before. And every single time it's an ascension, it's a rise up. So you can think of Kathleen, the nurse, as an identity, as a consciousness. I believe certain things. I felt a certain way about myself. I was very limited. And I say that in a non-judgmental way. She was amazing and wonderful, but man, her thinking was limited. She didn't know what she could do. She didn't like herself, and she thought wrong and small thoughts most of the time. So then I created a rise in consciousness, and I went up and I created Kathleen the millionaire. Very, very intentional. I said, okay, I'm going to make the decision to be a millionaire now. So how does Kathleen as a millionaire, what are her thoughts? What are her feelings? What is her actions? How does she show up? So I went into my imagination, the fourth dimension, where all creation begins. And I planted new seeds in the subconscious mind. I said, effective immediately, I'm thinking like a millionaire. Effective immediately, I'm going to feel like $1 million. Effective immediately, I'm going to act like a millionaire, powerfully, make strong decisions, be bold, be daring, be consistent, be more visible, want to help more people, I'm going to get uncomfortable, I'm going to invest in myself. Millionaires do. You want to be a millionaire, but you're not willing to ever invest in yourself? It actually makes zero sense. How do millionaires make their money? They had to do something very uncomfortable to get there. Like, I remember we were just talking to Martin Katz. Martin made my beautiful KC necklace. Eric trains him. And his business is he's in Beverly Hills on Rodeo Drive. He has a beautiful penthouse. And his business completely exploded. He's a jeweler. And he's on all the red carpets, all the celebrities, but he had to make a decision to become a jeweler, and he first started working in a jewelry shop, had no job, nobody would hire him. Like, it's such a powerful story. I can't wait for him to write a book or something. We keep telling him he's got to write a book. From nothing to what he has right now. And that's because he made certain decisions along the way that most usually aren't willing to do. That's a core success principle. So it's so incredibly important that we understand that we have to become the new identity, and then we have to live and act from it. So I lived and acted from Kathleen Cameron, millionaire. Then I created $100 million Kathleen. She was KC. I stopped calling myself Kathleen. I started calling myself KC. So Eric was the one who used to call me Queen KC all the time. And so I said, that's it. That's the 100 million Kathleen. She's KC. So then I started embodying that identity. I got the Casey necklace made. I'm like, here we go, let's go. Then we hit 35 million in revenue over in less than 5 years. And I went, well, 100 million's done. Come on. 35 is already complete. I got another 50, 60 years here in this world. So 100's done. So I created KCB. I just added the word billionaire. That's it. Right? So the billionaire identity had me no longer thinking like a millionaire. It had me thinking like a billionaire. So what's different? You make different decisions. And as soon as I did that in April, like, whoa, what's happened? I have ownership in like 6 companies now. Like it's moving. It's moving quick. And my team is even feeling it. It's powerful, but that's the power behind this work. Okay, this is what I teach. So we are going to talk about identity tomorrow. We're going to talk about that after you create your vision board. We're going to do that. Okay, I actually changed my human name. Has anyone else done that? Karen, do you know how many people in my energy have completely changed their names? That's what it's like to embody a new consciousness. You literally change your old human name. You understand that you are not your human. You can be whatever you want. You can be whoever you want. One of the things that we did at my Rise Retreat is we all sat around and I said, okay, let's introduce ourselves. Let's do it. Let's introduce ourselves right now. Everybody in the chat. Just one sentence to introduce yourself. However you feel called to do it right now. Introduce yourself. So if I were to meet you like at a networking event, what would you say? Okay. So I go by KCB, and I'm a spiritual being who was called to this humanly experience to raise collective consciousness. That's how I would introduce myself. Not a mom of 2 girls, a former nurse, a multimillionaire, manifestation coach, mentor, sister, daughter, right? These are all the conditioning programmed in your human. I'm dear, a multi-dimensional woman. Yes. But are you even a woman? Right? Because spiritually, there's no gender in who and what we really are. Right? So it's just, I'm just getting you to open your perspective about what makes me who I am. And what makes me what I am. And so what I understand is I'm a spiritual being who's now controlling her human, who's reprogramming her human. So I'm like, okay, well, what's the best possible thing that I can get this woman to believe? How do I get this one right here to move, to be empowered, to be inspired, and to take action and to change the world? I'm going to convince her she's limitless. I'm going to convince her she can do anything. I'm going to convince her that she's changing the world. I'm going to convince her that she's meant to serve millions. So this is what I'm doing. I'm literally reprogramming myself to believe I can do anything, and then I will. And now you're all doing it to yourselves. That's what this work is. I want to give away the scholarship. So we have one scholarship offering or giving out the award. I don't like to say you won it because it's not about winning anything. It's about we're awarding the scholarship. So, I hope I got this name right. Oh, thank you, Casey. She texted me to tell me. So the scholarship awardee is Sean Bloy. Sean Bloy. I think he's on. There he is. Oh, yeah. Can we hear you?
Hopefully.
Where in the world are you?
I'm in Florida.
Whereabouts?
In the Panhandle, in between Diston and Panama City Beach.
Beautiful. Okay, well, you're gonna come into the millionaire program, okay? So you've got the scholarship. I think that's the program that you'll probably take, is a millionaire program. Am I right?
Oh, for sure. Yes. This is actually, I'm in my studio that I'm holding.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so happy to meet you. Congratulations. I'll see you on the millionaire calls.
For real, for sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, my absolute pleasure. Are you going to clap, Jen?
Hey,
A round of applause for Sean. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I always end with a song. You guys know how I am. So I have a beautiful song that I want to play. I think it's the perfect little energy for us to get into. But just a reminder, this is about being the version of yourself in 2025 that has everything that you want, everything is done, as everything is completed. So I want you to show up now in the present moment as that version. So we're going to do the homework and we're going to come back on here tomorrow for 10 o'clock for day 2, right? This is what we're doing. Okay, so homework is the reflection, the 12 months, the good and the bad, and the fun piece is I want you to release and burn the right side of the worksheet, all the stuff that you no longer want, and those 3 things that you're leaving behind. I want you to burn it. So you can build a fire outside. You can just burn it in your sink. People have gotten a little bowl and they burned it in a little bowl. Please be safe. Don't burn anyone or anything down. Like this, I say, I shouldn't be telling you to play with fire, but if that's not safe for you, you can rip it up. You can flush it. You can put it into the garbage. But the act of actually blessing it and saying goodbye to it is an action that you take. It's a ritual that will solidify that in the subconscious mind. The other piece too, there is some statements in the workbook that you can use. So as you are doing this ritual and you're doing your bless and release ceremony, you can pray, you can do anything that you want to do, use crystals, use sage, do oracle cards, whatever you feel called to do. But I would love for you to use some of the statements that we have in the worksheets for you. So the statement might be, I am blessing XYZ because of this. It might be, I'm forgiving myself for this. So I forgive myself for never being disciplined. And now I'm going to leave that lack of discipline in 2024. Right? So whatever that is, do a beautiful little ceremony. A lot of people do it with their children. I think it's a fun little thing to show them that we're growing, that we're becoming better, that we want to be different. So you can do it with your kids if you want. And to really solidify this act, please post it to your social media or in our Manifested with Kathleen Cameron Facebook group and tag me. I want my whole rest of my day today to be people tagging me in their bless and release ceremonies, please. I want my soul is yearning to see you all letting go of the things that are no longer serving you, the small and limited beliefs, the actions that you've been avoiding, haven't been doing, the ones you've been doing you don't want to anymore, whatever that is. And we're not talking about like resolutions here. We're not doing New Year's resolutions. We're literally reprogramming the subconscious mind right now. We're saying goodbye to the things that have not served us, that have weighed us down, that have kept us heavy, and we're going to be light. Tag me on Instagram, please, or on Facebook. Yeah. In the Manifested with Kathleen Cameron Facebook group, you can tag me in there, but I will go in there anyway. Do a little video, take a little picture, whatever you feel called to do. If you are someone who's a little bit more private or you don't post to social, you can always send it to my team, let them know you did it. It's just an act of accountability. So it's just like when I do a workout with Eric and he's not with me, he'll send me a workout. I always text him after and I say, okay, workout complete, to let him know I did it. So that's all this is. It's just for you to come to us and say, I did it, I'm proud, here we go. Okay, so thank you so much, everybody, for day 1 reflection. I'm super, super proud of everybody. You might feel a little bit tired over the next couple of days, or you might feel very invigorated. So just allow yourself to feel, allow yourself to rest, drink a lot of fluids, take care of your vessel, please. If you feel a little bit of a headache, it is normal and natural. We are now going to have 2 opposing thoughts in the mind. The old you and the new one you're now contemplating, the old reality and the new reality. So it might feel a little bit like tension. It might feel like a little bit of a headache, but once you fully decide to choose the new, that headache should fall off because you're no longer in the conflict. Not 2 opposing thoughts anymore. You're choosing the one. Yeah, you might feel sick. You might feel a little nauseous. Yes. It's all the nervous system. We're moving energy. We're doing work here. The song that we are going to play just before we stop the stream is we're going to play Sia, Never Give Up. And I think it's a perfect song leading into day 2. We're never, ever going to give up. We're not going to give up on ourselves. We're never giving up on our dreams. No matter what, we will always continue to show up. That is something with me. You will never see me give up. It is not part of this human experience for me. I will forever keep going. So I hope that this song helps you and makes you feel inspired. And then I will see you all again at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning for day 2.